Overtraining is going to make it impossible for you to get abs. Assalamu alaikum. So one of my clients, mashallah, amazing brother, his son is a very disciplined athlete who's working very, very hard to get shredded, and he's very close. He's got the top 2 abs, but he's grinding so hard to lose that last little bit of abs, yet he's not getting to where he wants to be. He's trying to cut carbs, cut fats, only eat protein, do a ton of cardio, do a ton of training, martial arts, lifting, probably more cardio on top of that, but he's not getting those last 2 abs. And it's very interesting because a lot of people think that it's just about, going as hard as possible, burning as many calories as possible, eating as few calories as possible, still getting your protein. And certainly people who overeat their calories and underdo their training or step count do need to actually increase their intensity. However, there is a such thing as so much intensity that your body fights back. There is a such thing as under eating to where your metabolism can slow down. And if you look at all the most shredded athletes, they're actually eating quite a bit more calories than the average person, not just because they're burning that much, but because they know how to optimize their metabolisms. Now, of course, you can't compare yourself as a natural with somebody who is taking things that harm their health to boost their results, such as, the people you see in Mr. Olympia or a lot of, the influencers with these unnaturally amazing physiques. And of course, it still takes a lot of hard work, but these people are enhanced. So what works for them is very different than what works for a natural. There are some universal principles, but even with these people, yes, of course, part of why their calories are so high and their metabolism is so high is because of what they're taking, but it doesn't change the principle. And if you look at any shredded natural, it's even more important that you're not underdoing your fats or underdoing your carbs. Yes, you can't overdo your fats or overdo your carbs, but you definitely can't underdo them. Otherwise, your body's going to fight back. And it fights back in 2 ways. The first way is in something called stress-related water retention. And this is one of the most frustrating ones because, people will be working so hard, yet the scale won't go down. And even if they're getting to a low body fat, there seems to be just this layer of water over their abs. And a lot of them don't even realize it's a layer of water over their abs. They think it's a layer of fat over their abs. And so they try even harder to lose it, only for their body to fight back harder with more stress-related water retention and more metabolic adaptation. The best thing you can do for your metabolism is actually get in complex carbs and do what's called a refeed at least once a week. Because if you're constantly training, your muscles are going to get flat. And if your muscles are flat, it's not going to pull the glycogen, the water that is inside of your body, the sodium, everything else into your muscles. Instead, it's just going to sit under your skin and make it look like you're less lean than you are. And your muscles are going to stay flat because there's not enough carbs to replenish glycogen. So your muscles are going to look flat and small. And so as a result of that, you look less muscular and less lean than you otherwise would if you just carbed up. So, best thing that a person can do, have a weekly cheat meal, right? Within reason, of course, like a high protein cheat meal, but also make sure that even if you don't want to do a cheat meal, you're doing some sort of a refeed. This is going to keep your metabolism fast. It's going to keep your muscles full. It's going to help to get rid of stress-related water retention. Obviously, make sure you're getting your sleep, your stress management, everything else that I talk about. It's going to make a huge difference. So again, this is for somebody who's doing a ton of training and dieting really strict. Of course, if you're the opposite and you're not, dieting strict enough, you're being too loose with your diet and you're not training enough, somebody who's training only 2 or 3 days a week and they're kind of just eating healthy, even though they're actually eating, 3,500 calories a day and binging on nuts and dates, that's the opposite person with the opposite problem. But the person who's eating like 1,200 calories of only chicken breast and 2 pieces of asparagus and doing 2 hours of cardio a day, and they're like, why do I still not have abs? I'm supposed to be in a deficit. What's going on? Well, what's going on is, I don't want to say your metabolism is broken, even though that might be the thought that crossed your mind, but your metabolism is being suppressed. Your body is trying to fight this process, and you're getting stress-related water retention because your cortisol, your stress hormone, is too high. So carb up at least once a week, be more moderate with your deficit, feed your body, give it the fuel that it needs, take rest days, get enough sleep. And that was a huge one for me, by the way. So if I don't take enough rest days, because I'm pretty addicted to training, I love training as much as I can, but if I don't take enough rest days, I start getting a lot of stress-related water retention, and a lot of it is in my stomach. So it literally looks like I'm gaining belly fat, even though it's just water. And if I just take 1 or 2 rest days, okay, and get enough sleep, that water weight goes down. And as long as I'm, eating moderately as well, and I'm not overdoing the deficit. And likewise, if I go too low in calories to the point where my metabolism crashes, everything else, I get that water retention as well. So it's very important that we're being moderate. I just want to record this video for anybody else who's struggling with something similar, because it is a topic that I am passionate about because I've struggled with it, and I hate seeing people struggle with this because they're working so hard yet not seeing results. But everybody's different. So obviously, if you have any questions on how to apply this for yourself, whether this applies to yourself, whether you're somebody who's overdoing it or not, just DM me on Instagram. I'll drop my Instagram link here. That's the best way to reach me for a direct question. And perhaps I will feature your question on another video. I'm gonna keep your identity private, of course, unless you want me to tell people who you are, or I'll just answer your question in a voice message in the DMs. I try to read all my DMs, so please don't be shy to reach out and let me know what you guys need in the next thing. And you can also drop a comment here on YouTube. I'll see you soon, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.